in the console we can check the status of our jobs. I mean, in those jobs regarding the import process, or when we are sending some information to our search engines. I will go back to that tab later on. Good. So in here we have the experiment we just created, and we are trying to import the data for that experiment. So it says that it's uploading. If we refresh, probably it will say that it's importing. You see, it's uploading yet. Okay. So we could do something else. We could add further information in the form of protocol, or we can set up in here in admin some other things. For example, we can determine how many users are going to use the application and the permissions for them. The first time you use OmicsHub Proteomics, you can set from here the connection to your instruments, the connection to your search engines, but you also can create new templates or new protocols, for example, etc. Okay, so let's refresh to take a look. Now it says it's running, so it seems that it's working. I know that in that zip file I had 3 files, so for the moment it seems that only one file has been imported. Okay, no problem. Let's keep working. Next step would be identify. I'm going to use another experiment with similar data actually. I mean the same data. So our experiment actually is not enlisted in here because not all the files were imported, but I have a similar one in here. So I'm going to click in there, and this is the appearance of the files that you have just imported prior to submit them to your search engine. Okay, so we have the 3 files in here. We have the number of spectra in each of those files. We can check the spectra clicking on the icons. For example, in here we have the different mass to charge ratios. In here we have the number of peaks, and we have all the information enlisted in here. But probably it will be more interesting for you to check the spectra itself. Actually, if you like the image or you need the plot, you can export it as a JPEG file. Notice that you can zoom the image. Let's say, for example, something like this. Oops, sorry, I wrote too big figure. And you also can change the scale of the y-axis. Okay, good. So now we have all of our files in here, and they are ready to be submitted to the search engine. Well, actually, before search for my proteins, I could do a couple of things in here. I could tag my proteins if I wanted, or I can filter my peaks. Let's see how this can be done. Well, in this case, I've done it before. I used a mass exclusion list to filter my peaks. You see, it's very simple. You just need to select your txt file with your masses. For example, I used this one for keratines. And then you have the list in here. You just need to click in filter. But notice that you have some other criteria for filtering before sending your spectra to the search engine. Good. So now we are ready to search our proteins. Okay, so in here we have to set up all the specificities for your search engine. I mean, you can start selecting which search engines you are going to use. You can click in any of them or in several or in all of them. You can send your searches in one go as a batch search, and later you are going to get back that information in OmicsHub Proteomics. But the information is always to be separated, so you can identify which information is coming from each of the search engines. Okay, so now you would start selecting your parameters, or setting your parameters in here, etc. Once you finished, I recommend you to save that information as a template, because then next time you are using similar parameters or the same settings, then you can use that template. Actually, that's what I'm going to do right now for you to see how it works. You see, this is for my MGF data. So everything is selected in here. Sorry, I didn't click in load. Now it's done. Yes. Good. So now I would be ready to send or to submit the search. Well, I'm not going to click in search right now because I prefer to save some time. But if I clicked in here, I would get another box saying that this search is being performed in the background. So I will be automatically delivered to the console again. Actually, let's take a look at it. You see, I did that before. Here it is, my experiment, the one I was using. And well, now the status is finished, but in here I gather all the information from the search engines. Actually, as I used Mascot as a search engine, I could download my data file if I wanted. I can view my report, etc. Well, in here I have the basics. I also have my spectra in here. I have the number of proteins identified based on the number of peptides, etc. But actually you will get further information in the next step. But let me show you some of the meaning of some of those icons. For example, in here we have all the settings that we established for the search. Okay, you don't need to memorize anything, you don't need to copy anything from here, because you will get all that information in your final report if you want. Okay, well, remember that we filtered before submitting the search. Good, so next step in the workflow would be analyze. Well, for analyzing, I'm going to use another example. I'm going to use that one, Western European patients, because for that one I used two search engines to get the information back from my spectra. I used OMSA, but I used the Mascot as well. So as I said before, now you are free to work with the results coming from one of the search engines alone or both of them together. Let me select some columns in here. For example, I didn't use Phoenix, so I can remove those columns. Good. So in here you select which information you want to work with. So in here you have the main results. Let's take a look to the screen. Good. You see you have your accession IDs for each of your proteins, the name of your proteins. You have the sequence for your proteins. You can take a look at it in here. You have in red the matching amino acids, the matching peptides. Okay, the sequences are in here as well. You have the annotations, so all the available information is summarized in here. You also have the links in case that you want to know further about them. The keywords are in here, etc. Again, you don't need to memorize or to copy anything because this information is going to be in the final report.